Good evening, everyone. I hope we're well. Tonight we're going to be doing some art journaling. Sorry about that. Now, I didn't do a post earlier saying that I was going to be live tonight, so we are just going to hang on a couple of minutes, let people join in. If you're catching up later on Facebook or on YouTube, feel free to just zip forward a couple of minutes until I start doing anything. If not, then if you're watching live, then you're just going to have to hang with me for a few moments whilst everyone joins in. I am so sorry for missing last week. It is one of those. Thank you for everybody that went over onto the YouTube channel and subscribed. That is brilliant. And anyone who hasn't done that, if you can, as soon as possible, that would be great. We have over 8,000 followers on Facebook, and we're not even at 1,000 on YouTube. So we could really do with sort of boosting that up, because that would just really help us out, truth be told. Really help. So if you can do that, that would be great. Thank you very much. Public service announcement. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my phone awake. Here we go. Hello, Maxine. Hello, Shaz. Hello, Sammy. Okay. Yeah, so tonight we're going to be doing some art journaling in my notebook. I haven't done that for a little while. In all honesty, because I felt like I was doing it all the time, and I didn't want you to get bored of me. I'll do it every day. I'm not bothered. But you know, I want you to make sure you feel like you're getting something out of it. Now, you may have seen on the Be Crafty Facebook story today that I was doing some more stamping and cutting, and I did that a lot over the weekend. If you haven't seen that, go and check out the Instagram page or Facebook. Honestly, all weekend it's just been colouring and cutting. It's been, I can't lie, it's been marvellous. It was lovely. It was really good. Like my favourite thing. And then, excuse me, then today I was doing some more, but what I did was I was stamping on like a mop-up sheet. So for example, you'll see on this birdie here, he's got the imprint of one of the texture discs on there and what have you. And I think that can be quite good. This one, there's a lot of green, and that was from gloss spray, which in fairness was really good in a way, because it means it's not going to reactivate when you colour over it. So I actually quite like gloss spray mop-up sheets for colouring in, because you know it's not going to move. What's there is what's there. So you're not going to muddy any colours And I know Sam has actually finished a journal. We never thought this day would come, to be honest, because she has so many. But there you are. I'll tell you what I can't find again. You know my little black one? I like to do little mini pages in. See, this is why having a small journal is not really a good idea for me, because it vanishes. I mean, I know it's not actually vanished. I know it's in here somewhere. Okay. Hello, Alison. Hello, anyone else that I've missed? Okay, so like I said, we're going to be doing some art journaling in our notebook today. Like I said, I like to art journal in my notebook because I think it's really good to show that although it's lovely to have an art journal, for example, a Dilutions journal or a Dina Wakley journal, something like that, to work in, what I don't want is people to think that without that thing, you can't art journal. Okay? Art journaling is it's really open papercraft. There's lots of ways of doing it, and as far as I'm concerned, there isn't actually a wrong way of doing it. Okay, some people make their own journals and only art journal in junk journals. Some people only use stickers. Some people only use stamps. Some people only use papers. Some people only hand draw. And I don't think any of those are wrong or any are better than the others. And in fairness, I like to actually combine all of those within mine. Because has seen my art journal before knows more is more, boys and girls. It's not less is more is more. So that's why I like to incorporate all those things into my art journaling, and I don't think that you should limit yourself in a way. It's like never saying never. You know, you shouldn't say never, because then you're sort of tied down. And art journaling isn't that. It's a very freeing up process. And I'm being very handsy today. I'm sorry. Okay, so in order to stop that, let's get started. I have decided I'm going to use this lovely Catalyst paper, because I have kind of decided on this Kingfisher from the stash. Okay, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to turn it upside down, because I'm actually going to try and keep this a little bit more blank space. However, I am going to keep all this white. Now, when you're using your Catalyst papers, again, if you haven't seen these before, when you get the white sections wet especially, okay, they are going to go translucent. These are a Japanese rice paper that's been printed. Okay, so what that means is if you have a pattern behind here, whether that's book page, for example, say you're art journaling in an old dictionary or a book or something like that, that is going to come through, which I think can add beautiful texture, to be honest. But what it does mean as well is these lines, they are going to show through, but that's going to be quite nice, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one. Now, I don't normally do that, do I? Now, this doesn't need to be exact, but we're going to give it a bit of a go. All right, and then that is going to go. I'll cut that off short. That's okay. I wouldn't worry about such things if I were me. I'm going to put that right in there. Okay, and one of the advantages of, just going to get my collage mark medium. One of the advantages of, right, I promise after tonight this can go in the bin. Of going over a notebook or a book with less weighty paper that's not necessarily designed for mediums and things. With both matte medium and a cover paper, is it reinforces it so your ink and paper doesn't leach through. It can handle more medium, so if you want to add sprays, things like that, you can do that without worry about the paper disintegrating, because you have almost reinforced it, which is what we like. Okay, so I use the Tim Holtz Distress Collage Medium Matte for pretty much everything. To the point of, those that know what this is will understand, I once stuck the fleece of a grackle noseband back onto it on a bridle for a pony. Here's a funny story. That was 2 and a bit years ago and it's still there. And if it had only been used today, trust me, it's been out in all weathers. So I use it for everything, because if it dries completely matte, does exactly what it says on the tin, and just gives you a really nice surface to then add more things. Okay, which is great. Make sure you do put, that is actually completely done now. I'm going to throw it away right now. Look at that. So it really does just give you a really nice surface then to add on other mediums, add on texture paste ink, anything like that, which can make your crafting life easier, especially if you're using a notebook. Okay, oh, Maggie's back from her holidays. Did you have a nice time, my darling? Okay, so we're still thinking this on here. Yes, I am. Lovely. Okay. I don't know, it is quite a lot, isn't it? That bird. Maybe that's a good thing. Right, I'm going to get my easy frames out. Oh, do you know what? I can't wait to show you what I've done to my easy frames. Okay, so when I was doing some sorting, remember I said I am actually trying to sort my craft room properly. Okay, so I've sorted my Inkables first. So I did my easy frames. So these are my 4-inch easy frames. I'm going to keep those. And these are my 6-inch easy frames. So this will be just easier to show you what to do, what I've done. So what I've done is for each of my easy frames, I have stuck the inside in with some low stencil tape, and I've marked it so that I know exactly where it lines up the right way. And I've done that even from a circle, so that I know it lines up perfectly. I can't lie, the floor is covered in craft stuff. But look how neat my Inkables are. Yeah, I know. See, you can't have it all. Right, I'm also waffling right now because I like to give this a chance to dry itself. That bit just didn't stick in enough. Will give it a little waff with the heat tool, but I do actually prefer it to dry generally on its own. I think you get a better adhesion. Okay, but there you go. It was nearly dry anyway, so that just little waft just sort of tipped it up. I think I'm going to add as well some journaling essentials on here. I'm going to go with the Journaling Essentials 2. I'm going to say, check out the other organisation I did. Thank you very much. Because what I also did some cutting out of was some of the leaves off here. Like I said, it was my primary function over the weekend, was cutting and colouring. Honestly, you should see my doodle art tub. The cup overfloweth on my doodle art one. I would love to say I'm sorry, but I'm not, so I won't. But what I am going to do is I think I'm going to add some black to this because that kingfisher is stamped in black and we don't want it to look odd. Okay, so we've got some black, we've got some pink. We do have the fossilised amber, right, so we keep those three out and sort of commit to them. Alright, let's move all this out of the way a sec. I'm filling my desk. Right, first things first to fix, actually, should be the fact that this doesn't hit the edge. Now, if it didn't hit the edge on 4 sides, that would be one thing, but 2, I can't, no. We're not going to mess around with that sort of nonsense. So I'm going to grab the Dilutions Raspberry acrylic paint. Oh, hello, my light just went out in a very bizarre twist of fate. I must have caught something with my chair. I don't know if it makes a massive difference for you guys, but I'd like to have it on. Okay. Not sure. So I've got the raspberry here, which I think goes really well with this. And I have to say, the nearest distressing to it would be the picked raspberry, if you would prefer to use that. Okay. I'm going to grab my little palette here. I'm going to put a little bit of raspberry in there. I am just going to put a little bit in because it's going to add more. In all honesty, I don't want to waste it. So I'm going to go across the top. Now this is really thick. The Dina acrylic, it's really, really thick. You can actually create really good dimension with it if you want to use it straight from the tube. Okay, and I'm just going to add a bit of water to do that, and then that's probably a bit too much water. That's okay. And then just going to heat that. Your ATCs went curly because you were curling everything. I do find that with my playing cards sometimes, with my Be Crafty deck. I won't lie. sometimes I do get really impatient when I'm drying it, and my playing cards do curl a little. But you know, it's alright. So I'm going to freeze those drops in place. The reason I'm not just letting them dry on their own is because I'm going to rotate it and do a similar thing from the other end, okay? If anyone hasn't seen the theme for the Be Crafty deck this week, it is butterflies. A nice sort of go-to one this week, butterflies. Can you believe we're on week 15 already? That being said, if you have not yet started your Be Crafty deck, do not let the fact we are on week 15 put you off starting, okay? You can catch up. You don't have to follow the prompts to take part, okay? You can just row your own boat, as it were. We're totally okay with that. The prompts are just if you want to take part, but you have trouble, you're having a bit of a mojo struggle, you don't really know where to begin. That's what the prompts are for. They're not an obligation to follow at all. There we go. I know I could have watered this a bit down before I put it on, but in all honesty, I wanted to make sure I had that real intensity of colour, which is why I sort of used it neat and then added water in. Add a bit more. Okay. Alright, but I will say, do check out the album, and there are reels for every single playing card so far. And on the YouTube channel, I have actually, sorry, I missed out some of the letters out of those words. I have actually created a playlist for the Be Crafty deck. So if it is just the Be Crafty deck you're looking for, if you go into the Be Crafty Stamps YouTube channel, okay, and click on playlists, there is one there for Be Crafty deck, and you can see all the weeks. And they're less than a minute each one. Some of them are only 30 seconds long, so they're not going to take you long to have a look through at all, if you want to see how they're made. But obviously, of course, you can go into the album, onto Instagram, anything like that, to also see just see the finished article if that's all you're worried about. Okay, so as you can see, that page is now becoming more, for want of a better description, arty. Do you see what I mean? It's sort of like it's becoming more how we want it to be, which is what the catalyst papers are for. They're to give you a leaping off point. But that's where I think stamping and colouring and cutting out your stamps can also work as a catalyst for your creativity, because you can pick that up and go, right, so here we've got the red, the pinks, the yellows, a hint of orange. We could have gone a bit of green and pulled it another way. Okay, there is other things we can do here. Okay, so I'm going to add some more template work. So I've got my Inkables big ones, and we're going to add some more ink to this. So I'm going to go with picked raspberry. Like I said, I think it's the one that works quite well. Now, in fairness, art journalers who I would probably argue are probably bolder than me at this point would probably add in maybe a flash of green or something, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to add in a little bit of Bakewell, because it is such an awesome big one, and I can't remember the last time I used it. And it's literally my favourite one. So So it had been abandoned and rejected, and we don't want that, do we? No, we do not. Okay, and then we're going to move on to our stamps. So like I say, we've got the Journaling Essentials 2 on here. I will warn you now, I feel at the minute 2024 is going to be the year of journaling essentials at Be Crafty. I seem to be drawing so many of them at the minute. I've got so many stamps. I know, I fully appreciate it's not what I can do all year, but at the minute, that's what it's going to be. So I'm going to turn this sideways to make it easier to stamp on. Okay. And first of all, I'm going to add on some of the Journaling Essentials leaves with my picked raspberry. Okay, just in some random places. And I'm going to try and not get too carried away and completely cover up this space that was so important to me right at the very beginning. Okay. And then we're going to go for a fossilised amber. I think that's going to be quite pretty. Okay, so we'll add in a fossilised amber over here. Now, because we're using the Distress Oxide, that's going to sit on top of that raspberry paint there. So it's not going to sink into the background. And something I have been using more this week are my 5mm Slims. I'm a massive fan of my super skinny Slims, but I've sort of had the dropsies all week. Nobody give me a new mold baby to hold. And because, as daft as it sounds, because the 5mm ones are a bit weightier, I just feel like I can get a better grip on them. Oh dear. It's just me being odd. Of that I am sure. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my Versafine Claire Nocturne, which is the black one. Just wipe that oxide off there. And then I'm going to put on some of the black. But I'm going to sort of just sneak it in. Almost. I don't want it to be too much. And let's face it, that's a lot already. Alrighty. Now I'm going to give that a quick blast with my heat tool. As well, I'm trying to be better in terms of creating smudges. I will say this, when I'm stamping and colouring, something I have said to you before, so if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. I am more and more making sure to heat emboss each time, because I just feel it's preventing smudges. It allows me to use whatever colourings I want. I just stamp with my Versafine and then use clear embossing powder, because that way I don't have to worry about embossing powder moving really or going anywhere, and it just sort of seals the stamping ink, which is sort of great really. Okay. Right, now to my small easy frames. So we have the easy frames in all the same designs in 4 and 6 inch, and that's the outer measurement. Okay, I've said one of the small ones, but looking at the size of him, you know, I'm going to go for a bigger one. I was underestimating his size. No wisecracks, please. So, let's have a look. Because I want it to be not obvious, but you know. I'm looking for my maple. Okay. Now I have, like I say, what I've done is I have stuck it in it over the years of demoing TV, all this sort of thing. You end up with multiples, and I've ended up with inners, more inners than some, and more outers than some, where some have got lost and damaged and whatever. So that's what I sort of went through and was like, no, I'm going to match them up, and then I've drawn this line so I know that I can easily put them back in. Okay? Do you not think that was like weirdly wise of me, especially? Okay, so I'm going to put that about there. I'm going to get a blending brush that I use for the darker colours. I'm going to go with this grey one, and I'm going to get the black soot oxide, and we're going to lightly tap and I'm just going to blend off the inside of my Inkable. Okay, I'm not looking for a really heavy cast of shadow, just enough so you know it was here. Maybe a little bit more than that, she says. Just line that back up. So this is how I tend to end up with ink all over my fingers, isn't it? Now, of course, you could stick this down, you know, if you wanted to. If you know, if you really didn't want to risk it moving, but I have faith in you. It will be absolutely fine. Right. I'm committed that this will be the right one this time. Okay. I'm going to put that to the side because that'll need a wash in a sec. And this chap is going to sit right in here, but with those other leaves that we are going to push in from there. I do feel that this kind of needs a bigger word with it. So I'm going to grab my WORDage and let's have a look. I've got creativity words. Incredible words. What have we got on the mixed messages and that nice ticker tape that I like? We have right, we're going to go with incredible words. Okay. And then we're going to go with be amazing. But we're going to heat emboss on to black. So yeah, So while I'm doing this, absolutely, if you could make sure, could you do me a favour this week, if you see a Be Crafty post, if you could just click on it, you know, a heart or something, if you can comment on it, that would be so much better. We understand not everyone's in a position to buy all the time, but that helps in its own way. Okay. Here we go, let me push that up. So we're going to go with Be Amazing. So I'm going to ink that up, and I'll be using the Ranger White embossing powder. Just take off those little extra bits with a dry paintbrush. Be Amazing, always a good instruction. Oh, questions I've been asked. See, I've got a few questions that I've been asked recently, and I meant to address some last week, and I'm trying to remember what they were. Heat embossing. If I'm just heat embossing normally, I use Versamark, which is that one. That was a question someone sent me ages ago, and I can't remember if I ever answered. Okay, and someone was asking if we will be doing, when possible, some like YouTube exclusive like videos, and I will be at some point, like on a subscriber thing, and I will be at some point, but in all honesty, we would like to keep the lives and stuff we do on Facebook free for as long as possible. I'm not sure how long that is viable for in reality, because obviously people take the ideas and then sell them, and we're the other people not, you know, charging, but and which is fine for the most part, but we would like to keep it as long as possible. So that's why we're saying, if you can share and stuff, we would really appreciate it, because it helps us at least keep it as long as we can this end. Okay, right, I think we need some faux stitch around the edge, but I want quite a bold black. Aha, number 5. So I'm going to use the Sakura Micron number 5. Okay, so I'm going to take these off. If you do like to assemble and then come back, if you just take a picture of it on your phone, that means you don't have to then remember where you put everything. Obviously, if I forget, it's fine, because you're here. You can remind me. That is not always enough. Has anyone not had rain today? I don't think we get very many people that live in the desert. Here we go. So I'm going to go around. There's my pen. Always quicker than people think it'll be. But I just love it. I love the look. I love how it finishes. Bev, ages ago you did a whole ink evening. You explained when to use certain inks, etc. I absolutely could do a refresher. Funnily enough, darling, I'm waiting on several ink deliveries. For example, I saw some of the ladies talking about new Versify, and we're waiting on those, and we're waiting on a few restocks of ink. So my plan was, once all those are in, was to do a bit of an ink focus. And what have you. So I absolutely will do that again, no problem at all. That being said, we know how time runs away from me. So if this time in May I have not answered your question, please come back to me. But it's definitely in the plan. In the plan. But you know what they say about planning and me in general. You know. Oh yeah, Sam and I did not make a good choice as mothers today. We allowed the kids to go out riding. Yeah. That was stupid. Sorry, I'm looking for my skinny nose Posca. And it's vanished. And I know I had it yesterday, or earlier today, because I was doing... That's alright. Posca things will have to be added on later. Okay. Oh, I saw about the beach huts ending up in the sea. That was not nice to watch. Can't imagine it was very, very nice to experience either. Okay. I have also going to add a little bit of texture using this texture disc. This is from Texture Disc Set 4. And I just think I kind of like, because it's not angular and it's not regular, but it sort of gives that impression against the sort of leafy, almost smoke hazy background we've created as well. So it's a little bit of a juxtaposition, which I like. Alright, so we're going to get our Distress Collage Medium in the tube. And I'm going to add some to the back. It is a bit Matrix-like, Lindsay. You're absolutely right. I'm going to add that in there. Now, this again is another big selling point for Distress Medium for me, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add Distress Medium to the bottom of all of these and sort of put them in and sort of move them around. Now, obviously, if any of that squishes out, it actually doesn't matter because it's going to dry matte and clear. So I don't need to worry about it squishing onto anything or anything like that. But we're going to leave that like that. This one's getting empty as well. That's good though. I have got another one. I do store them all upside down. I just put them sort of in my pen and pencil pots like that. Put that on the top of there. Like I said, I don't know where my skinny puff screw is, and that one's not very well. I'll find it as soon as you've gone. I know I will. But don't worry, so I'm going to add a few more white elements up here, just freehand, some of the freehand hearts that sort of match with the Kingfisher. And then that'll be me done. So yeah, I'll just be leaving that to dry. Probably before I do that, actually. So that'll give me a good chance to have a look for my pen. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. I am going to be live in Crafting Together with All Brands on Thursday at 2 o'clock. And if you need anything else, there's anything you can't find or anything you need help with, please let us know. Please follow us on the show socials. Subscribe to the Be Crafty channel on Facebook. And basically, click like on any of the posts you see, because it really helps. All right then, guys. Thank you so much. Check out the website for any of the things you've seen that you like, and that would be great. Thank you. Bye.